once again. I am Kirtana, your Sergeant at Arms, and I'm pleased to welcome you all to our meeting. We all know that words are more powerful than swords, so I request you all to choose them very carefully while speaking on any topic. I request you all to put yourselves in mute and please turn your cameras on. Keep cheering to our role takers and speakers whenever needed. Mentors always bring the extraordinary from the ordinary, which is very true. When Arjuna was in the battlefield, he had lost all his hopes of winning it. And there comes Krishna to help him and guide him. He brought out the extraordinary from him, even though he was super talented. Like that, we have a person from our club. He was just a fresher as a service engineer in his company, and he didn't know how to approach his customers. Sometimes he didn't understand how to communicate with them and in a way that they don't get angry. His manager provided him support and guidance, saying that better service, the better growth. His manager helped him understand how to communicate properly and to think from the customer's perspective. And now he says, thinking from somebody's perspective also helps in real life. Now, he is the regional service manager of his company. Look where he is now. And please help me welcoming our president, Srijit Hilakilot. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kirtana. You always make me feel good. Thank you so much. And I appreciate your presence of mind to give respect to our actor, Puneet Rajkumar. Thank you so much. Dear members and esteemed guests, a very good evening to each one of you. How are you doing this evening?
Great, President.
Thank you. Great. I can see a lot of guests here today because of with the positive of time. I'm not asking you to introduce now. Maybe we will get in touch with you, with all of you. Maybe our VP membership or from our committee, we will get in touch with you. And we'll update you how to join a Toastmaster or join our club. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And it's our pleasure to host you today. Thank you so much. With that note, I declare the meeting number 1296 open. Now I request our secretary, Toastmaster Preeti, to read out the minutes of previous meeting and previous to previous meeting. Over to you, Preeti.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Meeting number 1294 was a day to remember. Sanguine, the word of the day, meaning optimistic or positive. We had a very sanguine expectations of having a full house, even though it was raining cats and dogs. We marched forward with the theme, confidence to help another, and why not? It was an open challenge between the rain gods and the Bangalore Toastmasters Club. Sergeant at Arms, Kirtana started off the meeting dot on 6:30 p.m., followed by the president narrating how Toastmaster Varun helped him in his initial years. Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster George, continued the ball rolling along with his taggle team with his witty one-liners. Toastmaster Manjunath gave us 2 bits on how to be a great communicator, and DTM Sumitra ma'am enchanted the audience through her storytelling. Table topics master, Toastmaster Nagesh sir, did not disappoint either. He ensured everyone, including the guest, got a chance to speak. General evaluator DTM Lalit did a meticulous evaluation with his arts method. A, analysis, R, recommendation, T, technicality, and S, summary. Evaluators Toastmaster Allen and Toastmaster Jules Pulsar passed on the words of wisdom. We were a strength of 24, while 17 of us were members. The rainmakers of the meeting were taggle team player Toastmaster Robinson sir, to role taker DTM Lalit Dhanush Talam, Table topic speaker, Toastmaster Hannah Victoria. Evaluator, Toastmaster Jules Paul. Speaker, DTM Sumitra Manmohan. Previous week, we had our club level evaluation and table topics contest, and the winners of the table topics were Toastmaster Surekha Jagdale ma'am, Toastmaster Varsha, and Toastmaster Simran Chopra. Winners of evaluation contest were Toastmaster Aaron Kamath, Toastmaster Varsha, and Toastmaster George Disa. Over to you, President.
Dear members, are the minutes are in order?
Yes.
Yeah, thanks for confirming. And please give a loud round of applause to our secretary for that prompt and impeccable minutes of previous meetings. I hope many of you would have heard about Angelo Dante. If you never heard about him, don't worry, I'll tell you. Angelo Dante was a great coach. Was a coach and a trainer of the legend, the boxing legend Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali is considered the greatest boxing champion this world have ever seen. That doesn't mean that he was not scared of his opponent. In his early stage of his career, his coach, Angelo Dante, he did a mental trick with him. Whenever the match just about to begin, Angelo would write a number in a small paper and put that paper inside the Muhammad Ali's boxing glove inside. And what is that number? In boxing, actually, there are 12 rounds. And that number was his prediction in which round Muhammad Ali is going to knock out his opponent. Can you imagine what would be his confidence level rise up to? This small mental trick had created a winner mindset even before the match began. That is what a true mentor can do. He can make you to believe in yourself because he knows your capability more than you do. I am fortunate to meet right mentors at right moments. I was a decent, innocent kid. Still the same, just grown up. I was very cautious and I was very scared to do something new. In one summer holidays, all my friends started learning bicycle. At that moment, in my village, cycle was not readily available. There was one shop where we used to get cycle for rent per hour 2 rupees. And to get that cycle, we had to walk close to 3 kilometers. But my friends, they didn't see all these challenges because they were so excited to learn bicycle. At the same time, I sat aside because I was scared. I was scared of many things. Then my cousin, Sunu, he came to me. He influenced me. He inspired me. He persuaded me. He motivated me to learn bicycle. How? He always tell me, if you learn cycle, Sriju, we can go and play cricket near that river ground. Actually, that is very far. Or if you learn cycle, we can go to college ground to watch cricket tournament. Because I was very much interested in cricket, playing cricket. Finally, all his effort paid off. I vividly recall the day when I rode cycle in front of my family members and friends. My face was shining like a bright sun. My chest was filled with pride and my head held high, and I was riding bicycle. He made me to believe in myself. Maybe it's a small thing for others, but for me, it was a great or a big confidence booster in my early stage of my life. And in Toastmasters won't exist without mentors, isn't it? I believe Toastmasters come this far, close to 100 years, mainly because of that structured mentorship program. And I am pleased, I am blessed, I am grateful to say that DTM Rajdeep Manmani is my mentor. And many people help me. DTM Sumitra ma'am, Toastmaster Robinson sir, Toastmaster Sureka, Toastmaster Ayyappa, Toastmaster Vivek, Toastmaster Deepika Das. Names goes endless throughout my Toastmaster journey. And I strongly believe with their support or guidance, I wouldn't have been standing in front of you today. And we Toastmasters all are indebted to this great mentor, Dr. Ralph C. Smedley, who started this Toastmasters movement. Words are not enough to express gratitude towards him. So I request everyone to give an applause to him. Thank you. Thank you. With that note, I would like to introduce you the next person, who is a eloquent speaker, voracious reader, who is a fitness freak. Actually, I am jealous of this person about his humor sense, his presence of mind, and his loud, powerful voice. When I asked him about the theme, he gave me a big list. And in the end, he told me, Sare Namaskaram. I don't mind if you don't mention all these things, but don't forget the important thing. What is that important thing? Yes, this Toastmaster is still single and ready to MC this evening. Please help me welcome Toastmaster Vaidyanathan.
Sare Namaskaram. Thank you, Mr. President, for those kind words. I always knew that you are a wonderful speaker, that today I got to see the other face of yours. You are a wonderful liar as well. Anyway, nevertheless, no, that was just, I was just kidding. Thank you very much for those lovely words. I'm truly blessed having getting such a wonderful introduction from our beloved president. My dear Toastmasters and fellow guests, so we welcome to meeting number 1296 of Bangalore Toastmasters Club. A fortnight back, our Vice President Education, Hana Victoria, she called me. She said, Vaidya, you are going to be the MC for the day on 29th, the meeting which was slated on 29th of this month. So you are going to be the MC or the TMOD. I was pleasantly surprised. I said, why me? Why not someone else? There are some gifted speakers. Anyway, it is going to be an offline meeting. There are some gifted speakers who can dazzle on stage, is what my response when she spoke to me. She said, Vaidya, it's more to do with the theme, unforgettable mentors. I was elated. And then she came out with a brilliant explanation. She said, Vaidya, it's been close to 3 months since I took up this role of Vice President Education. And there are 3 requests which had come in for change of mentors, change of mentor. And all the 3 came from your mentees. And more importantly, they all gave the same reason, unforgettable mentorship. So that's when I really knew, okay, so there is something that I'm not doing the way a mentor has to do. So I couldn't say anything else, and then I accepted this role. I'm in front of you, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you, Hannah Victoria, for giving me this wonderful opportunity. Nevertheless, when I got to know about this particular theme, I started seriously searching about what mentorship is all about, because we have seen and heard many definitions which are very bookish. Many a times we try to figure it out, what the difference between coaching, what is the difference between coaching and training, training and mentorship, mentorship and training. So all this used to come and go. So I seriously started looking for some real good meaning. So I stumbled upon quite a few, but one thing which struck me was the definition, which goes like this. So it's like a typical quadrant, a 4-quadrant. Normally, life problems can be sorted out in 2 ways. One is using a 2x2 matrix, which normally a consultant do. And the second one is using a quadrant, 4 quadrants. So this definition is basically a 4-quadrant. It goes like this. In quadrant number 1, there are certain things which I know about myself as a person. And those are the ones which even others also know. Say, for example, why there is one who wears specs. This is something that I know. And this is something which everyone who is there in the part of this particular meeting also know. And why they comes on stage and he blabbers something which I know and you also know. And the second one is, there are certain things which I know about myself as a person, whereas others may not know. Those are something which are pretty confidential. And the third one is, in the 3rd quadrant, you have certain things which I myself don't know. Who am I? And the same is the case with others as well. So they also don't know about certain things of mine. So those are certain things which are hidden. But finally, the 4th quadrant is something which we really need to ponder upon. There are few specific areas where I don't know about me as a person, whereas someone else knows perfectly. And that's where mentorship comes into picture. And they are the ones which are called the black spots or the dark spots, which we don't know, which somebody else know. And mentor is one who will show you the mirror. Hey, gentlemen, this is where you stand. These are the areas of improvement that you need to know. Suppose in case if you need to achieve what you always want to, or always you aspire for, these are the areas where you need to focus on. So basically, mentorship is all about showing you a mirror and telling you what the black spots are and pushing you slowly towards what you always aspired for. And there are no organizations, we all work for some companies or the other. There are many organizations, but there is only one organization which has taken or embraced the concept of mentorship to its core or to its heart. That's Toastmasters. Anyone who joins this particular organization or a movement gets attached to a mentor and they can become a lifelong mentor. So we always move one step ahead. We always get the right kind of inputs. We always get to know what the dark spots are. We always get to see the mirror which our mentor shows to us, which will help us to achieve what we aspire for. That's what happens in Toastmaster when we speak about mentoring. When I speak about Toastmasters, I could see a few guests. So for the benefit of those guests, I will just quickly take you through what a Toastmasters movement is all about. This one movement which started way back in 1924, which is somewhere close 96 years back, 97 years back in Santa Ana in California in US. And over the last 96, 97 years, this organization has grown by leaps and bounds. And today we have more than 14,000 clubs spread across different countries, helping thousands and thousands of people to improve their leadership skills and communication skills. A typical Toastmasters meeting will have 3 sessions. To begin with, we will have a prepared speech session in which a speaker comes prepared and he delivers the speech based on some project guidelines. And in the second session, we call it as a table topic session or an extempo session in which a speaker is given a topic off the cuff and the speaker has to speak on that particular topic for close to 2 minutes. And finally, we have something called as a evaluation session, in which a seasoned Toastmaster or an experienced Toastmaster dissects the entire proceedings of the meeting and comes out with various suggestions of how exactly we can improve the quality of the meeting. So today, to take us through this evaluation session, we have with us a Toastmaster who is a seasoned Toastmaster and experienced Toastmaster who served as the president of a club many terms back, an excellent speaker who is known for his quick humor and his wit, the man who eats, sleeps, and drinks this magical word called sustainability. He's working as the senior director, embedded software, at a company which converts the energy that we get from sun to other energies, a man who is fully focused on solar energy. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome the general evaluator of the day, the sustainability champion, Toastmaster Someshekar.
Thank you.
To assist in his role as a general evaluator, we have a 3-member team called as a tag team. As a timer, we have Toastmaster Nandan. Toastmaster Nandan, may I request you to read out your role, please?
Yeah. Good evening, fellow Toastmaster and guest. As a timer, I will time the table topic speaker and evaluator, and also alert each speaker of the time they have left using green, yellow, and red card. Thank you, Toastmaster.
Thank you. And our counter, we have Toastmaster Chetan. So Toastmaster Chetan, please spell out your role.
Hi, greetings, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The purpose of the R counter is to note words and sounds that are used as a crutch or pause filler by anyone who speaks. During the meeting, I will listen for overused words, including and, well, but, so, and you know. I will also listen for filler sounds, including and I will also note when a speaker repeats a word or phrase such as I, or this means, this means. At the end of the meeting, I will report the number of times that each speaker used these expressions. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you. As a grammarian, we have Toastmaster Nestor Rodriguez. Mr. Nestor, it's over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vaidyanathan. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, my unforgettable mentor, Robinson sir, and guests. While Keitana earlier cautioned us that words are important and we should use them wisely, words, when used properly, form great language, which is exactly where my role as a grammarian comes in. I will be noting all usage of great language, noting opportunities for better language usage. And also, as grammarian, one of my duties is to introduce the word of the day, which I'm doing right now. And the word for the day is embellish.
Embellishment.
Embellishment. Sorry for the typo. And this is embellishment is to heighten the attractiveness of something by adding decorative or fanciful details. And an example of this usage would be because Arun had a tendency to embellish the truth. No one believed that he had actually been robbed. I will also be at the end of the day, at the end of the meeting when I'm called upon to share, I will share my grammarian report and encourage everyone to use the word of the day. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster Vaidyanathan.
Thank you, Nestor. And we also have a role by name listener. As a listener, we have Toastmaster Smita Roshi.
Thank you, Vaidyanathan. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Good listening is the key to good speaking. So here I'm listening and I am testing whether you are listening or not to hone your listening skills. I will come up with some embellished questions at the end of the meeting. Over to you, Toastmaster Vaidyanathan.
Thank you. Thank you, tag team and the listener. Let's move on to the first session of this meeting this evening. So that's going to be the prepared speech session. Our speaker number one is going to attempt a project from motivational strategies as a pathway. And it is going to be a project one from evaluation and the feedback path. And the speech is going to be evaluated by Toastmaster Akhilesh. Toastmaster Akhilesh, could you please read out the guidelines?
Yep. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. The purpose of this project is for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to a second speech. Timer, please note the duration of the speech should be between 5 to 7 minutes. All the best to the speaker. Back to teamwork.
Thank you very much. So this gentleman is a typical Bangalorean. When I say a typical Bangalorean, he is an engineering graduate, an aspiring motivational speaker who loves the game of football and rock music. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome our first speaker, Toastmaster Utkarsh Joshi on virtual stage.
Am I audible?
Yes, very much loud and clear.
Thank you. Let me begin. Celebrated philosopher Jason Silva talked about how frustrating it is for the human race that we are able to think of the stars and love and moon and ecstasy, all the while subjecting ourselves to bodily functions like sickness and death. He was dissatisfied with the human being's mortality and the fact that our heart stops and that our bones break. The human condition is no small picnic, he said. Without the limits of our physical existence dragging us down, we might have been gods. So maybe that is why God added this irony into us. Over tens of thousands of years, humanity has evolved from just trying to survive to contemplating how to live life better and how to make things more beautiful or ugly. There is an existential grief that haunts us, is that we can do amazing things only to die eventually. The fact that we have to condense our immense thoughts into subjects and verbs and sentences that make sense is a saddening thought. Well, spirituality gives us a chance to tap into something greater than the physical and see humanity for what it is. We've seen cases of people living for 1,000 years and people achieving superhuman feats. And think about what being superhuman means. Being superhuman is someone who's crossed the limits of our physical existence. Someone who's done great things with their body. Maybe that is why we revere sports stars so much in our life today, because they're so skilled with their body that we can't ever do what they do in 1,000,000 years. The human condition is different in that most of the human neuroses is caused by suppression of the anxiety of death, because we are aware of our own existence, aware of our own mortality. If we do not know the truths of our death, we create illusions for ourselves. And this is the source of our greatest creativity and also our most destructive behaviors. Ernest Becker said there are 3 major solutions that man has come up with for the problem of death. The first is the religious solution, where we create narratives for ourselves about souls and heaven and hell and nirvana. The second is the romantic solution, where we deify our lovers. The modern pop culture themed solution, where we call them as gods and goddesses because our partners are our everything. But the relationship starts to go sour when we start noticing the cracks and the faults in them because they are just another human being. Third is a creative solution, where there's a tendency to leave behind something of transcendent value, maybe a body of work or the service that you've done in your life, the tendency to leave behind a legacy. It is saddening to know that great minds and women of beauty have to sit on the pot every morning before thinking of quantum mechanics and posing for a photo shoot. But it is something that we have to accept and get on with. Terence McKenna said, "The man-made world is a condensation of the human imagination. We know that we take lowly disorganized matter, put it through the filters of our minds, and we create amazing renderings of our inner landscape. We take these small things, put it together with our modest thumbs, and we create technology with architect technology. Alone, we're just primates. But when we come together, we're primates that can fly. Terribly, it's also true that we've found new ways and creativity in hurting each other to do something that hurts humanity itself. We've created wars and weapons and concentration chambers and the electric chair, but we also have the power to create medicines and vaccines and things that inspire humanity. We can choose who we want to be. And lately, we've been choosing wrong. We need to know that making a contribution in life is the worthwhile response to our withering mortality. And I've always loved the idea that only two things matter in the time you're here on earth. The first is the impact of your activity, and the second is how you make your life profound. Human beings have a fear of being fully alive, even though we can do amazing things. We have courage, we have conviction, we have quick thinking, but we also have fear and anxiety and even stage fright. We need to realize that the best moments in our life come only when we are thrown into the abyss and we find a way to rise and float. We find a way to overcome those fears and keep courage. We see through lenses of perception all our lives, but we never see the lenses themselves. It's only when we are cracked open or when we are given a slap in life is that we see that we've been seeing the world not for what it is, but for what we are and how it benefits us. We need to know that the only way to embellish life every day is to see it for what it is, to live it fully, to be part of the ecstasy of the limit of our being. And with that, I hope all of you enjoy the gift of being alive every day. Thank you, and back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
I think Toastmaster Utkarsh deserves a big round of applause for this philosophical speech. So the message is pretty clear: live life fully. It's a wonderful message, Toastmaster Utkarsh. Our next speaker is attempting a project from the Pathway Effective Coaching, and the project is going to focus on the positives. And his evaluator is going to be TM Saideepak. I'm going to read out the guidelines of this particular project. So the purpose of this project is for the member to practice being aware of his thoughts and feelings and the impact of response in others. And also, the speaker is going to share his experience while completing this particular project. Timer, please note the time is 2 to 3 minutes. This Toastmaster is the founder president of Bangalore Toastmasters Club. He has mentored thousands of Toastmasters in the last 20-25 years. He's a man who is known for his generosity. He's always there to help anyone who goes, or anyone who just calls him up. He is there to help us anytime. One of the very, very few individuals who had worked in all the three arms of a government, which is legislature, judiciary, and executive. And the list goes on and on and on. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome our next speaker, Toastmaster Robinson D'Souza, on stage.
Thank you, Mr. Vaidyanathan, for the introduction. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I am 72 years old. I have put in 53 years of experience, I mean work experience. Out of them, for 28 years, I have worked in high-profile posts. I have been married for the last 45 years, have 3 children, all of them have settled in life. With this background, I thought I am perfect. But this project, Focus on the Positive, has opened my eyes and showed my imperfections. This project required me to start a journal, record the negative emotions as well as the positive emotions which I used to overcome the negative emotions. As a result, within 3 weeks, I realized my imperfections, not being patient, lack of flexibility, lack of better listening, and finding solutions. After realizing these imperfections, I first applied these to my family, my children, my wife, and also my grandchildren. Today, as a result of this, I find my home a small piece of heaven on earth. Fellow Toastmasters, it is not an embellishment. By profession, I'm a lawyer. We do not go to the houses of our clients. But a lady approached me, 88 years old widow. She wanted to make a will and she was unable to move. I made a departure from the rule. I went to her residence last Monday and started collecting her facts to write her will. At that time, I realized that she had lost her husband. He had not made a will. As a result, she was unable to transfer her vehicle, his vehicle, and also said that there are 45 lakhs of rupees in a FD for which her husband has not nominated, and she is unable to get it. I asked for the RC. RC means registration card of the car. She gave me a folder and said, sir, my husband was very meticulous, sir. He has put all these papers in this folder. After collecting details, I went on scanning the folder and found, to my surprise, 2 registered wills, including her husband's and this woman. This project truly helped me. Friends and fellow Toastmasters, don't you think focus on the positive is not a miracle? It's definitely a miraculous project. Over to the Toastmaster.
Truly an eye-opener, Toastmaster Robinson. Thanks for sharing us this wonderful example. So a round of applause for Toastmaster Robinson for this project wonderfully delivered. Our next speaker is attempting a project from the Pathway Presentation Mastery. And this is a project from the evaluation and feedback path. And the speech is going to be evaluated by Toastmaster Mahesh Shankar. Toastmaster Mahesh, could you please read out the project guidelines?
Thank you, TM Modi. The purpose of this project is for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to a second speech. The purpose of the speech is for the member to present a speech and receive feedback from the evaluator. Timer, kindly note the speech length is 5 to 7 minutes. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mahesh. Again, this gentleman is again a typical Bangalorean, a software engineer, a consultant with ATOS, more importantly, a fitness freak who loves both running as well as cycling. He is a voracious reader. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome our next speaker, Toastmaster Prathik Uthappa on virtual stage.
How many of your parents had a 9 to 6 job? We all eagerly used to await their return from work, isn't it? Thank you, Toastmaster Vaidyanathan, for the wonderful introduction. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests. I grew up looking at my dad, who used to leave to work at 8:30 and return back from work at 6:30 p.m. Once home, He used to help me solve my mathematical problems, assist mom in the kitchen, watch TV, have a family dinner, and go back to bed at 9:30. Work-related topics were never discussed at home. Weekends was always family time, without any office-related calls and files. I always assumed that this is the normal working custom, and I was excitedly waiting to start working and earning. But reality struck me hard at my first job, as I had to wake up at 4 in the morning. In today's world, a 9 to 6 job seems to be a thing of the past. Work plays a significant role in all our lives. It ensures that we pay our bills on time, make certain there's food on the table, and also guarantees that we have access to all the luxuries that we crave for. It is no easy task to achieve work-life balance in today's unpredictable and fast-paced business world. As we inch closer towards technology and social media, it's becoming more and more difficult to separate our life and our work from our personal life. Our lives is filled with interruptions today, like sending an SMS to a client while you're at the mall, or answering a phone call from your boss when you're at the restaurant with your wife and kids, or even replying to an email when you're at a vacation, even working on your laptops over the weekend. But we have convinced ourselves that these interruptions are no big deal. They seem small at certain times, but they do creep into our personal time, and they increase our stress, and they undermine our happiness. Work-life balance seems like a destination that we are yet to reach. Most of us are working 7 days a week as we work from home. And thanks to the COVID pandemic, we are all chasing unrealistic business demands, and we have put everything at stake: relationship, health, sleep. Even during get together with families and friends, work related topics takes the prominence of all. Today, I would like to share 6 core pillars for good life by anyone's standard. But do remember, even if one of them is off, our life will fall apart. Firstly, health. Live a long life filled with vibrant energy. Wealth. Accumulate enough money to lead a simple and which fulfills your lifestyle so that you need not worry about your future. Relationship. Have or look for a broader, diverse, loving network of relationship with people whom you feel connected with. Fourth, work. Have a job where you can work on your strength and passion, and which in turn gives you a purpose, fulfillment, and satisfaction. Learning and development. Invest on knowledge and skills, which will help you overcome challenges in your career and in your life, in present and also into the future. Lastly, purpose. Live a life which is filled with real examples and which really matters. For example, say you have a good health, but your relationship seems to be complex, which will make you very unhappy. If you have a good and loving relationship, but if you are in debt and your creditors are repeatedly calling you, that would make you more frustrated. If you are rich and you have all the wealth that most of us dream about, that would even not matter if you are sick and bedridden. I would like to conclude with a famous quote of American politician Paul Longas, who said, "No one ever said on his deathbed, wish I had spent more time at work." Back to you, Timothy.
Thank you, Toastmaster Prathik, for that lovely speech. I think the very apt at this point in time, the kind of pressure that we are going through at our corporate lives, a very apt speech. So a round of applause for the speaker, Toastmaster Prathik Uthappa, for delivering this important speech at a very important time in our lives. So well done, Toastmaster. And finally, the fourth speaker who is going to attempt a project from the Dynamics Leadership Manual. And again, it is going to be a project based on evaluation and feedback. May I request his speech evaluator, Toastmaster Sujata Sanam, to read out the project guidelines, please.
Good evening, dear Toastmasters and dear guests. The speaker is attempting a second speech from his dynamic leadership project. The purpose of this project is for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to a second speech. Also, the speaker has to demonstrate that he has applied the feedback received from his first speech. All the best, Toastmaster Saideepak. And timer, please note, time is 5 to 7 minutes.
Thank you, Toastmaster.
Over to you.
Thank you very much. So when I asked this gentleman for his introduction, so he gave me quite a few, but I couldn't figure out what exactly those are, because highly technical. He said he is a radar simulation engineer. Okay, I couldn't figure out what exactly it means. Radar simulation engineer, and working with the Mercedes-Benz Research and Development Organization in the city of Bangalore. He's a fitness freak, but the most amazing part is he loves traveling to Bangkok. I don't know why. So if you have free time post this session, you can just check it up with him why he loves to travel to Bangkok very often. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome our next speaker, Toastmaster Saideepak, on virtual stage.
Yeah, thank you, TM. I hope I am audible as well as visible.
Yes, sir. Very much.
Yes.
You are in Bangkok now?
I'm at home only.
Okay.
Yeah. Good evening, my dear Toastmasters. After the fall of the Soviet Union in 1991, Cuba was in a dire economic situation. There had no petrol and no way to import food for the Cuban people. The citizens were on the verge of a famine. The crisis paved the way for an organic revolution. More people grew crops on balconies and gardens. Farmers were forced to alter their cultivation methods. They started plowing fields with oxen, and the lack of pesticides, it forced Cuba to adopt organic farming. This kind of sustainable urban agriculture helped people feed themselves. From 1988 to 2007, Cuba increased the production of vegetables by 145% and decreased pesticide usage by 72%. We can all take a leaf out of the Cuban book. Edible gardening is a lot easier than what most people think. There are multiple advantages in growing your own food. Firstly, the satisfaction of eating produce grown yourself is a very different experience. We can all relate to eating homegrown mangoes or tomatoes and can vouch for the satisfying experience. Secondly, homegrown vegetables taste much better than the store-bought ones. For instance, homegrown tomatoes or coriander leaves have a much superior flavor and aroma. In addition, it is the freshest possible produce straight from the garden to our kitchen. Growing at home, you also have the least possible chance of infection and is the safest and healthiest option. Moreover, a productive edible garden is such a relaxing and visually pleasing space with much needed exposure to fresh oxygen. If you have kids, it's a great way for them to learn about the nuances of agriculture, like planting seeds, weeding, and harvesting. It's like a free practical biology class for them. It's a great way for them to strengthen their bond with Mother Nature. Fruits and vegetables grown at home are seasonal as well. If you see in today's market, you can find oranges even in summer and watermelons in winter. Fruit and vegetable prices have skyrocketed in the last couple of years. It's a great way to save money as well, especially in this kind of COVID situations. Brazil, for example, had a severe food crisis due to the COVID situation. Some of the cities like Rio de Janeiro, their capital, multiple people were forced to embrace urban farming to survive. Manguinhos was one such area which was among the poorest. The area used to be filled with drug addicts. It was a barren area devoid of vegetation. The Manguinhos vegetable garden project sprang to the rescue. It is one of Latin America's largest community farm. So they employed multiple local workers, and this project, they supplied workers with training, basic equipment, and enough food to take home to their families every week. In accordance with the guidelines, they must also distribute part of their produce to people in crisis, and the rest can be sold to Brazilian distributors. This project helped more than 800 families survive this coronavirus outbreak. This project helped boost the local economy and provided fresh, affordable food to residents who would often go weeks without meat or vegetables. When the project was founded a few years back, most people felt the poor could not dream of eating organic. Today, the poor in that area eat organic without having to spend a fortune at the supermarket. I would like to conclude by saying that edible gardening is the need of the hour and the best way to achieve self-sufficiency in food for the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sai. Look at the choice of cities and countries that year. He loves traveling to Bangkok. He spoke about Rio. You know why he spoke about Rio? Rio Carnival. He loves that as well. And more importantly, he also loves traveling to Cuba and Russia. We could very clearly figure out the taste of yours, Toastmaster Sai. So excellent. And more importantly, an engineer from Mercedes-Benz R&D touching upon an important point of saving money. Excellent. I think Toastmaster side deserves a round of applause for taking us through this wonderful project. So, round of applause to him.
Thank you.
And that brings us to the end of the first session, which is a prepared speech session, and the voting code. The link has been shared on your WhatsApp. So the code is 1296. So please do take 5 seconds to cast your vote for the best speaker before we move on to the second session. Well, now let's move on to the session that we are eagerly waiting for. That's something which will make us dance on the virtual stage, which is called the table topic session. To take us through this particular session, we have with us a Toastmaster. Again, the gentleman served as president of Bangalore Toastmasters Club few terms ago. A man who is known for his subtle humor and self-deprecating humor. And he calls himself a data plumber. Even though he works as a data or a mining director in one of the finest software companies, he prefers to call him data plumber. I don't know why. We will get to know from him. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome our table topic master, Toastmaster, Vivek Vijayan. Vivek, it's over to you.
Thank you so much for the generous introduction, Toastmaster Vaidya. So here we go, table topics. Something which I always prefer to take the role of table topics master, although I have done it only thrice in last 5 years, because that's the only way you can escape from really being called out during table topics. So anyway, all right, guys, I know if you measure the BP of all the attendees who are likely to be called, it must be really high. I think there has to be some experiment where before table topics starts, and by the time table topics master comes on stage, if we measure the blood pressure, it must be really high. All right, guys. So although you must be having some sort of a blood pressure, so that's fine. So everything today is pictures. I'll not read out anything, so you'll have to just look at what is here and then speak on the topic. Most of them are really nothing is serious, and none of them are serious. It's a pretty light-hearted, so just you don't have to really have your BP moving up. So for most of you to just make sure that some of you who are new, or even people who have been used to all this, take a deep breath, and if you are unable to tell something, use this formula. Make a point about whatever you see on the screen. That would be the table topics that you see on the screen. Make a point, okay? Then provide a reasoning as to why you made that point, and then give an example if possible, and then conclude the point again. So this is called a prep method. So let's try. If this eases your anxiety, then let's go ahead. All right. Let's now get into the table topic session. This is your first topic, Alan Arhana.
Yeah. Hi. Hello.
Hello. Yeah. Go ahead, Alan.
Yeah. So special discount up to 50%, right? Now, when I hear this topic, what I actually remember is online shopping, and what it also tells me is that I really miss the joy sometimes of going with the family and actually shopping in the mall. Today, in the day of Myntra, Amazon, and everything else, I remember this time for Diwali, I had to get a kurta, so I just got it online. But some of the special moments of these festive seasons are actually the time where you get to spend time together. It's not the on Diwali day per se, but just the preparation of it, going together, spending time, going shopping, having lunch together. I think we have missed all that in this age of going online. Now, how do I relate this to a Toastmaster meeting, in the sense that you will all identify that when we all had to go online, a lot of us felt that there was something missing when we actually met face to face, as opposed to, seeing each other through Zoom. And I think no matter how attractive it looks, no matter what it means, no matter how big the discount, I think the fact that we can spend time together and spend precious moments sharing memories together and going out shopping, even though it comes at a price, I think those moments are priceless. Over to Vivek.
Thanks so much, Toastmaster Alan. Yeah, I can relate to that. Yeah. Going shopping and then seeing 70% discount, 20%, that's a different effect completely. All right, the next topic, this is for Toastmaster Sudipto. There's Sudipto. Toastmaster Sudipto. Okay, I don't see Sudipto. Toastmaster Fatah Khan. Toastmaster Fatah Khan, I did see you online.
Hey, I'm there. Sorry, I couldn't get off the mute. And
that's fine.
So many
so
other
go
things.
ahead, Sudipto. Yeah.
Okay, so what I see is, a cart, a shopping cart, but unfortunately, the shopping cart is full of medicines. And if while I don't see the name written out there, but what I can see is streptomycin, erythromycin, and all kind of other antibiotics, which actually does, relate back to the current times as it is, right? We are in the midst of one pandemic with different waves. And if you really take a step back, and we are sure, I mean, some or at least a lot of us have been, faced with these medicines and having to take them, right? And one thing common, if you see between all these streptomycin, erythromycin medicines, is what is ending with, and that is what? Mycin. Does it mean that the pandemic situation we are in is due to all our sins? And it is actually. It is there, right? I mean, if you even take a look back, right, what we have done to our nature, right? This beautiful, gifted, beautiful world which has been gifted to us, and how we have brutalized the world. So, I mean, it's no wonder that the curse of nature is on us, and we have to digest all the sins to set the world back to how it should be. Back to you, Table Topic Master.
Thanks so much, Toastmaster. So that was nice, finding out that everything ends with sin. All right.
Sorry for interrupting, Tabletop Master. Just want to check if our timer is enabled to show its slides. Since you are presenting, maybe you can make a noise.
Yeah, I'm able to do it, sir. I'm able to do it. I'm following it up.
Thanks so much. So next, let's bring on Toastmaster Mahesh Shankar. Toastmaster Mahesh Shankar, I did see you.
He's an evaluator.
I'm an evaluator.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That is mistake from my side. Toastmaster Aaron.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. This is your topic.
May I begin? Am I visible and audible?
Yeah, you are.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, guests, and Table Topic Master. What I see on the screen is a train with passengers boarding the train. This reminds me of our good old household name IRCTC. Now you see, we condemn the British for the British rule and all that they did to us, and we celebrate freedom. Somewhere in the silver lining amidst all of that is the postal system and the railway system that they left with us. So there was a little bit that we could take and build from the British colonial era in India. The railway system was initially architectured by them and implemented by them, but we've done a great job in taking it further. In fact, the IRCTC today has a monopoly in the railway sector. Revenues are increasing, trains have become cleaner, the food has become of a better quality, better standard, and train travel in India has significantly increased over the years. And for that, we have our own government to thank. I also want to bring out that the IRCTC has also implemented other measures in terms of railway booking, in terms of tourism. So they're not kept to just running trains, but they've also expanded in this way. And this is reflective of their shares escalating 600% in the last 2 years since they went public. And now, in fact, they're going for a stock split because the value of their shares have become so much that they want it to become more affordable for people to buy. So they're reducing the price of each share. And this is something, this is one of the beauties of India, the railway system, and may it continue forever and ever. Thank you, and back to you, TM Modi.
That's a nice take, Toastmaster Aaron, on IRCTC. I am very sure you have some stocks in that. Otherwise, this wouldn't occur to you at this time. All right. Let me invite Toastmaster Varsha. Toastmaster Varsha. Varsha. Toastmaster Varsha. Varsha, you pleaded with me to call you.
She has left a message saying that she's not being allowed to unmute.
Okay, can somebody do that? We'll wait, isn't it? Admin, should be.
It's not happening. I don't know.
I think she can rejoin. Maybe then it'll work.
All right, fine. I don't think this is a very specific topic. I can't really transfer it to anybody else.
Where is she? I don't know then.
That's fine. That's fine. I cannot transfer it easily to others. This was for a particular message that I thought Varsha will be able to take it up. All right. I don't see anybody else who would really be able to do it. Okay. All right. This one goes to Preeti Kurian Varghese. She is not around. Something wrong with the muting system. Preeti, aren't you there? All right. If Preeti isn't there, let's try Toastmaster Nazneen. Okay, if Toastmaster Nazneen is not there, let's try Toastmaster Vijay Sai.
Okay. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and President. I can see there this wonderful vehicle, which is actually a jugaad. A jugaad is an innovation. This vehicle is neither a two-wheeler nor a four-wheeler. And all of us who have traveled in it know the horrors of it. The horrors of it because we know This can move anywhere to the left or to the right and take a sudden U-turn. And much more than people who sit in it, even people who are traveling behind and in front of it are always scared of it. So usually we do not know which direction this particular vehicle would automatically take. You can see it squeezing on the left. You can see it moving to the right. You can see it zigzagging in front of you. But somehow, I think every auto rickshaw driver in his past life has been a circus driver, because they drive it so skillfully amidst the ups and downs, amidst the humps and potholes of Bangalore. And literally, this particular vehicle is made for the current Bangalore pothole system, because you do not know where the potholes are. You do not know. You have to measure it. You can't even measure it because there's water in front of you. And this wonderful vehicle zips through anywhere. And people have also innovated on this vehicle. They've made an auto ambulance. They have made so many other things. And indeed, in spite of this particular thing being a dangerous vehicle at times, both to the people who travel within and also to people who are following it or in front of it, it also is a boon, because anyone and everyone can have the honor of asking for an auto rickshaw. Similarly, the honor of refusing to come to your destination is also there with this auto rickshaw driver. And he has that power. There have been times when this auto rickshaw has made me feel helpless, where again and again I keep stopping vehicle after vehicle, driver after driver. They stop, look at me as if I don't exist. Some of them just look at me. The moment I tell the destination, they don't even nod their heads and they move on. So this vehicle is a one in all. I adore it. It's an angel. It's a devil. It makes me feel ignored. It makes me feel rejected. This is our very own three-wheeler, the wonderful Jugaad vehicle that we have, and all the more, the most suitable vehicle for Bangalore. Thank you very much.
That was nice. You are a poet almost. All right. So since Varsha must be around, if Varsha, last and final call.
I'm back.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. It's been a very tough day, and I'm actually finding it really emotional to talk about this. For one simple reason, because they say, when nepotism has taken over the modern era, it is not easy to keep up the reputation. Just because your dad is a superhero, it doesn't mean you become a superhero. To keep up that reputation high without getting into controversies, without making a lot of noise, it means something really well. And for someone who chooses to give a message than to show himself as a hero, for someone who always sees the good in another human, for someone who backed national awards without knowing what it means to have a national award, for someone who's the most humblest, simple human being, although he's from a royal family, it really was an ill-fated day today. I'm not speaking this for the competition, but there is this line from one of my favorite movies that he's acted in. It's called Paramatma. In Kannada, they say, Jotegirada Jiva Endiginta Jivanta, which translates to say, someone who's not with us is closer than ever. So that's where he is. I think from Prime Minister Modi to a small kid is silent today. The atmosphere around is not that great. but I'm sure we'll learn to live with this. Like they say, there might be an end to an artist, but definitely not to an art. So an artist lives through his art forever. ಬಾನದಾರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸೂರ್ಯ ಜಾರಿ ಹೋದ ಚಂದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಬಂದ ರಾತ್ರಿ ಆಯ್ತು ಮಲಗು ನನ್ನ ಪುಟ್ಟಕಂತ ನನ್ನ ಪುಟ್ಟಕಂತ. Over to you, Vivek.
Today was a pretty depressing day, and so Toastmaster Varsha, you did give a very good farewell to Puneet Rajkumar. Thank you so much. So this topic was made for Varsha, and I knew that she would do some justice to it, and she did more than justice to it. Thank you so much. Let's go to something lighter, and Toastmaster Kamlesh. You're around, I know.
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you, Vivek, for this this wonderful picture, and this picture, which is extension code for our power. And when you like your own post, yeah. So this point of time, everyone tried to build their own post, own content, and try to plug in. So to get the branding and get to know about what is happening. And that reminds me that 1.5 years almost when the COVID come into our life, and then I thought that what I can do for myself and what I can be a part of this ecosystem of a digital thing. And then I thought, why not do something? And that idea that sparked me to plug in my thoughts, and I started writing articles, and it was just a small start, but formally I made it a point that 1 month, every alternate days, my post will come on LinkedIn, and what I made the target, I could able to achieve that. So without any much of objective, I could able to do it, and that resulted some of the posts I got the likes about more than 1 views, and that really helped me to understand that what people are liking, and it is your own stories, own your learnings, your own experience that really help to understand that people are there. So in this rat race, definitely you can do for yourself. You can plug in your thoughts, your ideas, and the sky is the limit. Thank you, and over to you, Vivek.
Thank you so much, Kamlesh, on that. The next topic, this is this, and this would go to Suresh Rajendran. Are you there? Toastmaster Suresh Rajendran? No? No, Suresh Rajendran, you're around. Suresh Rajendran. Okay. See somebody unmuting, is that right?
Hey, hi. Yes, I'm here.
Go ahead. This is your topic.
Yeah, I mean, kind of surprised because I didn't know that I would be called to talk, because I just joined as a guest. So I was just listening to everyone. So yeah, I mean, I'll take this as an opportunity to talk about it. Yeah, so this is full of papers. When I see about this thing, what goes in my mind is about the media, full of sometimes I see the news that we see is overhyped. Some are unrealistic, just for TRP. They are putting some fake news. They are giving so much of hype to something which something we don't even know or something of something unimportant, but because of this media, we are getting to know about it unnecessarily. We are investing our efforts and driving our focus into that, and forgetting about the important things that we are supposed to do on a daily basis. So I think media should be should realize its the I would say their role better, and let us all what we deserve to know. So that's what I feel. See, the media should be taking that response, because it's huge responsibility that the citizens of the country and we are relying upon. So they should understand this, and do justice to what they are up to. So that's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Sorry for the surprise. That's how table topics goes. All right. This one is for Aditya M. Aditya M. Aditya M, you're not around? Then let's give it to Toastmaster Hannah herself.
Good evening, Vivek. Thank you. This is a guy peeling onions or cutting onions, I guess. Quite an innovative way of protecting his ears. I like cutting onions because sometimes I'm so upset, so then it goes away with cutting the onions. So tears just roll by. And but I've heard it's also good to tear once in a while. It's good for your system. All your impurities come out. So it's and onions are a very what do you say? When fried well, when you're making, I think it adds good flavor to your food. And so I have this habit of smelling in the sense when you fry it well, so the dish comes out much tastier. So I understand the smell. Once the onions are fried well, then I add on the different masalas. So, but it's good to see a boy cutting. I mean, I know it's now a common thing. It's no longer, only a girl's way of doing things. So it's what you say. But he's cutting quite a lot of onions. Maybe making, something for many people. Yeah, I think that's about it. But it's good. It's good to cook. It's good to serve. And when people like what you make, I think it gives you a lot of pleasure. That satisfaction of something you have created. We never get to create anything in the sense that always we are consumers. We are never a producer. So when I cook and when it comes out well, I feel, oh, okay, good that I've created something and it's come out well and people have enjoyed it. So that's with cutting onions. Yeah, thank you so much, Toastmaster Vivek.
Thank you so much, Hannah. The next topic here, I'll go for the next topic, and this is Toastmaster George.
Yeah, so I recently seen a WhatsApp forward where 4 members are riding and a police guy has catched hold of him, and the comment goes on like this: we are okay to pay the penalty rather than fueling a bike with 2 more bikes. So I think good evening, Toastmaster, table topic master, and all my dear guests. I think this Monday I've been to petrol bunk. It's almost 117 rupees. So I think it has been hiked up like anything, and it's okay, but for the common people, it's too much. This fuel price, in a way, I could see that I am started to walk to the nearby distance wherever it is. I'm not taking the bike now to the nearby distance. In the one way, it's good for our fitness, but in the other way, the prices are going very high. The inflations are very high. So these are the instinct what is coming up in my mind. Thank you. Back to you.
Thanks, George. Apparently this cartoon is from the 80s. Things remain the same, I feel. All right, let's go to the next topic. This is for Toastmaster Aditya Sampath. Are you around? Aditya Sampath, are you around?
Yes, yeah.
Sure.
This is my first time. As you opened up the presentation, it really bumped up my BP.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I can see there is this guy with 10 heads. I'm assuming is Ravana, and then there's this guy who's serving this tea. Yeah, with in current scenario, even with one head, we have a lot of headaches. Headaches, as in it can be tensions, it can be all the problems which we face in our day-to-day life. And one solution which immediately we get is we go for a tea break, we go for a coffee break, and it's hard to imagine with that many level of heads. Is one cup of coffee can it be really is it really sufficient? And now I get into this thought that probably it might not be a maybe tea or coffee. It's something more than tea or coffee. That's my take on it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aditya. So let's go to the next topic. This is the next topic. Toastmaster Guru Prasad, do you want to go? Toastmaster Guru Prasad, you were around. I don't see you now. Toastmaster Rishabh, you want to take it? Toastmaster Rishabh, you want to take it? All right. Toastmaster Jayesh, do you want to take it? Toastmaster Jayesh, I don't see Toastmaster Jayesh either. So maybe Toastmaster Preeti Kurian Varghese, do you want to take it? All right, no problem. Since there is nobody, let me move on to the next one. Toastmaster Ayyappa. Ayyappa, you're around. This is the last topic. Okay. Ayyappa also has problems unmuting. I see Ayyappa around. So does anybody else wants to take it whom I'm not
call Maheshwaran.
Maheshwaran, do you want to take it?
Yeah, very much. Yeah, hi, fellow Toastmasters. Today, I'm a guest of this Toastmasters Club. In fact, I was ready for the previous as well. So today, if you see, this is one of the fantastic message. So where in WhatsApp and particularly any kind of social medias, so a lot of messages getting forwarded. So rather creators, it's getting forwarded only. So unfortunately, whether we don't have time to look at it, whether what exactly the message is. We just keep forwarding, whether it's a good message, bad message, and we don't get into qualify it actually. Today with this, we had a lot of good things also happen, bad things also happen. So just forwarding a message which is a wrong message might impact someone's life. All right. And it is one of the powerful tools. So instead of just wasting it, so we can also just see how well we can utilize it. So my also sincere advice to all the people over here. So whenever we get to receive any message or general forwarding message, you can also put your thoughts and see that whether you want to forward or just drop it or delete it actually. So this is a take on this post. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Maheshwaran. So we come to the end of the table topics session. As they say, for a prepared speech, you have to prepare for 3 weeks. For an impromptu speech, you have to prepare at least for 6 months. So frankly speaking, you should watch one of the educational session given by Toastmaster, distinguished Toastmaster Rajdeep Manwani on how to speak and table topics, or how to, what's the preparation that you need on table topics. That's really path-breaking or wonderful. You should look at that if you want to speak. There are no secrets. It's just a preparation for a long period of time. All that, I enjoyed it as much as perhaps most of you enjoyed it. Back to the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Vaidyanathan.
Thank you, Vivek, for taking us through this table topics. So thank you very much. So please do vote for the best table topic speaker. The link is going to be on your WhatsApp. The code is 1296. The best part of this particular table topic session is Vivek called Nasreen. She wasn't there. And then he called Preeti Varghese. She was also not there. And then he called one more person. And the topic that was given was auto. Okay, so when you need it the most, it won't be available. So it exactly symbolizes the. So the topic was very well given. So wonderful, Vivek. Thanks for taking us through this lovely session. So a round of applause to Vivek and the table topic speakers. Well, now it's time for us to hand it over to the G, Toastmaster Somashekar. It's over to Toastmaster Somashekar.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vaidya. There was this charter flight where there were 4 passengers flying, and suddenly one of the engine stopped working. The pilot frantically tried to fix things, but he could not. And he grabbed a parachute under its seat and jumped off. Now there were 4 more. Unfortunately, there were only 3 parachutes. So the first person said, I'm a doctor and doctors are here to save lives. I need to save many more lives. I'm important. So he grabs 1 pack and again jumps out. Another person, he said, I'm a big businessman. I'm the smartest guy around here. I need to leave. This world is for smart people. He pulled 1 more parachute or 1 more bag and actually jumped off. Now there remained a priest and a small boy. The priest humbly said, boy, you are too young. You need to live your life. And he offered the parachute to the boy. The boy said, no need of that, sir. The smartest man in this flight took my backpack and jumped out. My dear friends, what he took out is his backpack, not really a parachute. Most of the people in this world think that they are the smartest one. It's only in Toastmasters where you get to be around people who help you realize how smart you were. That is the method of, I'll copy it from you, Vaidya, by the method of 4th quadrant. Well, our Toastmaster Vaidya said that mentors are there to help you to hold that mirror. But unfortunately, mentors don't come during all the meetings. And that's when an evaluator is there for each member. He gives you a feedback on what's happening, right? Or actually how you could improve upon things. By that way, I think, or I believe that one becomes smart by identifying the areas of improvement. Now, let me look upon today's meeting, how it went on. For a change, I will come in a reverse order. I told about this man actually who jumps out of the flight, right? So what is really required there is the instant thinking or thinking on the feet. So Toastmasters has a platform here, or as a platform, there is a session called Table Topic Session, which today as a table topic master, we had Vivek Vijayan. I always call him the Albert Einstein of Bangalore Toastmasters Club. Very creative in whatever he does. And the same thing he demonstrated today with those wonderful pictures very apt. Apart from giving the topics, he had a crash course on how to prepare the prep. It was very wonderfully done, Vivek. Only suggestion to you, come here more often so that other people also can learn how a table topic session can be conducted, in different way. I told you come more often just because you told that actually you gave it only thrice actually in 5 years. Very simple topic. I think you made people think. And for people who didn't, or actually who cannot read Kannada, I think the topic he gave to Varsha, it was a name of a movie, Better the Who. So I know it was an actually emotional topic for today, Vivek, but then, you could have highlighted that many of the speakers, might not even, that poster actually meant nothing, nor actually we could see our power star actually in his current forum. So that was actually him as an child actor. So overall, let's give a big round of applause to Vivek for those wonderful, simple topics and pulling in guests and members into this forum. Thank you, Vivek. We then, or actually before that, we had the evaluation session. That's the 4-quadrant story. Before I talk more about the evaluation of our prepared speeches, may I call upon the evaluator? So today the speaker number 1 was Utkarsh Joshi and his evaluator Akhilesh. May I request Akhilesh to give your feedback speech?
Again, good evening, fellow Toastmasters, dear guests, and Toastmaster Utkarsh in particular. Toastmaster Utkarsh, it was a very good speech. The purpose of the speech was for you to pick on any topic and speak about it. You took a topic which was philosophical in nature and took us through the journey of it. You just explained how humans were transformed from just looking for survival to what they're looking for better standing of living today. I really like how you explained 3 solutions from Ernst Becker and 2 things that matter the most on living Earth today. That is the impact of our activity and how to make life profound. I want to say that you were very clearly audible. That means you sounded very loud and clear. I was able to hear every word without any issues. Your language was very good. You framed some of these sentences very well. And also you were within the time limit. I think you took around 6 minutes, 40 seconds. So you were within the time limit. It shows that you prepared well for the speech. And some of the things I liked about is that you mentioned that the best moments in life can happen when most of the people who are listening to that today. And also you looked at how we are looking at the life through others' perception and different lens. And only when we crack the lenses, we will actually get to know what we wanted from it and how we could benefit from the life. Overall, the speech was very good. I was able to enjoy a lot of it. And at the end, you just used a simple sentence and ended it with saying that how people should be able to enjoy the life or be gratitude for just being. That had a different meaning altogether today with things happening around us. And you already had a very good speech. Just one recommendation, if you may take, is that you brought out some of the things like how humans are more creative and able to accomplish more things in both positive and negative way. For example, in one of the scenarios, you told that we are capable of inventing medicines and vaccines. And also you said that we are inventing wars, weapons and other things. Probably if you had used a different vocal variety to emphasize the good things and the other negative things in a different way, so that there's a little bit of depressing when we're talking about how humans are moving in the other direction, which was able to see throughout your speech, that would be better. Nevertheless, it was a fantastic speech. I look forward for more speeches from you. Thank you, and back to General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Akhilesh. I agree with his opinion. It was a brilliant speech, very powerful. I think the word usage were so heavy, and I truly enjoyed, and it was actually really apt for what's happening around us today. A brilliant speech Utkarsh, and looking forward for many more speeches of that depth. Right. So,
thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Toastmasters, let's give another round of applause to Utkarsh Joshi. We had our second speaker in Toastmaster Robinson D'Souza. May I request Toastmaster Rajdeep Manwani to give his evaluation, please.
Sir, am I audible and visible?
Yes, sir. Very clear.
Okay, okay. Fellow Toastmasters and dear friends, today Robinson D'Souza sir took us through a journey of reflecting and introspecting a 21-day journal where he had to focus on the positive, negative, and gratitude. So let's see what you did brilliantly, sir, in this project. The first point, which I thought was very nice, is I must tell you something. I'd read a book called My Experiments with Truth of Mahatma Gandhi several years back, and I was very, very impressed by his ruthless honesty towards himself. And I saw the same thing coming through when you spoke today, because you were ruthlessly frank and honest about whatever you did, your negatives, and you focused on those negatives. And you said that I had temper, I had procrastination, I had these emotions. So you focused on that. You were very, very honest in the journal. Second was the learning ability. You said I'm 72 and you're still wanting to learn. So you're focusing on what you can learn, and that learnability came through your speech brilliantly. The third is the dedication. See, you have to maintain a journal for 21 days, which is not easy. And you maintain it for 2 days, 3 days, and then you forget about it. And for people who think that he might have just bluffed it, he sent me the record of those 21 days yesterday. The complete 21 day in a Word document. So seeing the dedication towards the project, rather than choosing an easy project, you chose this project and you maintain the dedication throughout, is commendable. Where can you improve, sir? Now, sir, there was this point where I thought you focus on the positive. You focused on what, and it's supposed to be a report of 3 minutes. So you told what negatives came out through your journal. But for the positive, you told us a story. In a report, a story is not required. You just state the positives. And even that story talked about how you helped a widow, rather than your positive emotions where you felt elated or happy, or you felt grateful to God that you are not so old and something happens through you. All that should have come out. So that was the first thing. Second thing is your project speaks about gratitude. 3 things you're grateful for. I didn't find that in your report of gratitude. Now, the third suggestion which I would like to give you is this project has a choice. Either you give a 3-minute report or a 7-minute speech. For your style of speaking, your storytelling ability, you could have chosen the latter of a 7-minute and combined all these stories with the gratitude and made it a super duper hit. What I would like to conclude is that, sir, you are a brilliant person. Your speech was titled Miracle, and you are a miracle at Toastmasters with your honesty, with your focus, and your ruthless honesty towards yourself and the club, and your dedication is commendable. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Rajdeep Manwani. Again, Mr. Robbins, if you want to make an impact, your speech need not be 10 or 15 minutes. I think that's what actually demonstrated. Even in 2 or 3 minutes, you can have a great impact on the audience. And to be smarter, another thing you need to look into it is how smart he really dresses. So look at him. So that's another way, right? You make an impact on people. I think it was a fantastic speech, and Rajdeep gave a total feedback on this. So moving on to, before that, let's give a round of applause to the unforgettable mentor of so many in Bangalore Toastmasters, Mr. Robinson D'Souza. All right. We will then move to speaker number 3, Prathik Uthappa, and his evaluator, Mahesh Shankar, please.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Prathik, the purpose of your project was to present a speech on any topic. So from the word go, to me, you look like a seasoned speaker. You were so comfortable on the stage, and it was quite visible that you were also confident. You took an apt topic which impacts most of us, giving reference to those old years during our parents' time where it was 9 to 5, and then bringing it to the current situation where the current generation where there are no personal or me time. And then you brought an element of the 6 pillars, how actually it covers all aspects, which also made me to ponder. Thanks for reinforcing and reminding us. Based on your previous speech, you had to focus on body language and you had used your hand movement very well. And also your entire face was very well covered in that frame. So you had kept it at a right place and you were quite visible. What you may want to work on, while you had used your hand movement, you could have also used your body movement, which was missing, like moving a bit here and there, right? Usage of the stage is what I'm referring to, is very important. If you can consider the same in your next speech. If you may look into your voice modulation as well. Your voice was pretty flat and you have a very strong voice and you can really create an impact by bringing a vocal variety. And where you can challenge yourself. Any speech is divided into 3 compartments, that is introduction, body, and conclusion. And I saw that was missing. It wasn't stitched quite well. You had mentioned about the 6 pillars. Had you given some example on how to build on it and using your own example, by that way, would create a very big impact to the listeners. I would request you to adopt some of the suggestions in your next speech and wishing you good luck. Over to you, General Van.
Thanks, Toastmaster Mahesh. And Prathik, I think you have really taken the feedback from your first speech very seriously. So the way you were standing, away from the camera and where, your full visual was covered, I think that was fantastic. We could really see the body movements in a, very well manner. Thanks for that wonderful speech. One suggestion, at the end, you mentioned, I want to conclude. This is normally not recommended. They say the listeners, as soon as you say that I want to conclude, they switch off and they're not listening to what you're going to say next. This is applicable for the next speaker as well. I could hear him say, I want to conclude. Please avoid using that. And good closure, always know that people will realize that, okay, the speech is over now. All right. So with that, let's give another round of applause for Prathik Uthappa, our physical fitness charm out here. All right. The next speaker was Toastmaster Saideepak. May I request his evaluator, Toastmaster Sujata Sanam, to give the feedback, the evaluation?
Thank you, sir. People will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel, said by Maya Angelou. Once again, good evening, the Toastmasters and guests, Toastmaster Saideepak in particular. First of all, I would like to congratulate you for a great speech on vegetable growing at our own garden. As I'm a terrace gardener, I would easily connect with your speech very well. I always gift plants to my nieces and nephews and give them a task to grow them like healthy plants. So that's how I teach growing plants to kids also. Thank you so much. With regard to your speech, you have a good language and you had a great voice clarity also. We could hear you very well. Though it is a virtual meeting, you had a good eye contact also. From your speech, we can make out how much you love traveling to different countries. There is a great saying goes in Kannada, Desha Sutti Nodu, Kosha Odi Nodu, which means roam around the countries and read the encyclopedia. So because of roaming different countries, you will be more matured person than what we are. So with regard to your gestures, of course, they were apt to your speech. You have demonstrated awareness about the growing of our own vegetables in our garden without pesticides. It was very greatly told, and you are very comfortable while expressing, and your ease at speaking, as you have a very good language grip. I would like to give 2 suggestions to challenge yourself or to work upon. One thing was camera. Before speaking, you should have kept your camera little more far distance, or else in a proper way. And the second thing, what I felt was you could have used little vocal varieties. Example, Brazil was facing huge food crisis during COVID situation. Like that, you could have used voice varieties. It was like flat while telling about the speech. Overall, it was good to hear about edible gardening and its benefits. Looking forward for more speeches, Toastmaster Saideepak. Good. Over
Thank
to you,
you.
sir.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sujata. I agree with her. Was a wonderful speech, thought-provoking topic, and useful for everyone. Saideepak. I also agree with Sujata that the tone was a bit monotonous. Bringing in variation will really help create mental pictures. It's a general suggestion, Sai. You can incorporate that in your next speech. Again, it's my personal opinion. Overall, wonderful speeches, and I truly miss that we did not have an offline meeting today. It would have been a great opportunity to really meet all these people who had such varied thoughts and experiences. Is it a time to vote for the best evaluator and also for the best speaker? Please take a moment to vote.
Thank you for that, General Evaluator. The voting links for the evaluators are sent. The pass score will be 1296.
Okay, thank you. Now, how do I remember Saideepak? Bangkok, Cuba, Soviet Union. And who helped us do that? The Toastmaster of the day. That is the art. That is something a Toastmaster, the master of ceremonies, you call him in different names, does to this entire session. He views a complete story, and Vaidya is absolutely great at that. He really made this meeting memorable by giving vivid introductions to every assignee who came here. Vaidya, brilliantly done. Another reason why I feel bad today, we didn't have a meeting, because offline meeting I'm talking, right? It's always a pleasure to meet Vaidya. His subtle humor is something very amazing, and he demonstrated that throughout the meetings. He connected each speakers very well. He told about what Toastmasters is all about. So honestly, I didn't find any suggestion to be given to Vaidya. Initially, I thought his hands were too close to the camera. I know many times during his gestures, I used to see his hand, the way actually I'm doing it now. The hand was really waving in front of the camera. So this is, I had to really dig it out, Vaidya, but otherwise you were truly brilliant today, except that we are all afraid because you didn't join us till 6:29 p.m. I think. So that's, that's the only thing, or actually I didn't see you till that time. So you gave us actually some tense moment. So otherwise, a brilliant job done by Toastmaster Vaidyanath. And again, giving that example of 4-quadrant, that's brilliant. Whoever is aspiring to be a TMOD, a successful TMOD, should really learn from what he did today. A very nice story, an anecdote, and brilliant introductions. This is what really makes up a Toastmaster who really conducts the meeting greatly. Well done. A big round of applause to Toastmaster Vaidyanath. We will now go to the tag team before I talk about the president and the sergeant at arms. May I request the timer for the day, which was Toastmaster Nandan, to give his report, please?
Yeah. Good evening, fellow Toastmaster and guts. For prepared speech, everyone did it on time. And for table topic, again, everyone on time except Vijay Sai exceeded 40 seconds. And the evaluator, all are on time. That's all from my report. Back to Toastmaster.
Thank you, Chandan. And we have our counter, sorry, thank you, Nandan. And we had our counter Toastmaster Chetan.
Thank you, sir. In fact, I had a tough time to identify the R's in the presentation, but yeah, President had 3 R's during his inaugural speech, and then TM Modi, Vaidyanathan filled in 2 of the R fillers, and then Nestor had around 5, Akhilesh around 3, Prathik 2, Sujata 4 times, and then Vivek Vijayan had more than 10, and Alan had 3, and Varsha twice. Hannah was around 5 times, George 3 times, Maheshwaran was 5 times, and Somsekhar sir was 3 times. Thank you. That's my report. Over to the Toastmaster.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Chetan. Over to grammarian Toastmaster Nestor.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Today we had some very brilliant use of language. The word of the day embellishment was used by a couple of folks, including Utkarsh, Robinson sir, and Vaidyanathan. And some wonderful use of language was where someone spoke about meeting the right mentors at the right time, see humanity for what it is, inner landscape and the ecstasy of our being, realized my imperfections and the focus on the positive, and a 9 to 6 job is a thing of the past. The complete report will be available at the end of the meeting. Back to you, Toastmaster Somsekhar.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Nestor. And over to our listener, Toastmaster Smita Roshi.
Good evening, Toastmasters. I'm back with my questions. So all of you can unmute and answer. And there's a small twist. Whenever you hear a right answer, you can show this emoji, a tada, on your screen, every one of you. So here goes the questions according to our Sergeant at Arms Kirtana, who is the mentor of Arjuna.
Krishna.
Krishna, yes, that's right. And who answered? You can all give a tada to the person who answered. The next question, who is the coach of Muhammad Ali? Who's Srijit cannot answer.
It's Angel Adulton.
Oh, wow. May I know who answered?
Maheshwaran.
Hi, Maheshwaran. So here goes a tada to you. How many rounds are there in a boxing competition?
12.
12. That's right. That's like Mahesh Shankar. Here goes a tada to you. What are the 4 quadrants mentioned by Vaidyanathan? Vaidyanathan cannot answer this question. Others, you can unmute and answer. 4 quadrants. First one.
I know me, you know me.
Yes, that's right. Next one. I know, but others don't know. Then the next one, I know, and you also, I don't know, and you also don't know. And last one, I don't know, but you know. And that's where mentors come in. And to the last question, in one of the table topics, what was the 4th monkey doing?
Always on
iPhone, mobile.
Mobile. And that's it. With that, I conclude my listening session. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Smita Roshi. So the meeting is about to end. Before that, we need to recognize the Sergeant at Arms who started the meeting bang on time, 6:30 p.m. And the credit goes to Kirtana, who was here. She had logged in 20 minutes before and ensuring all arrangements are done. and for a great job done by Kirtana. Let's give a big round of applause. Brilliant, Kirtana.
Thank you, sir.
Suggestion to you. You just introduced the president and just told about Arjuna and Krishna in 10 to 15 seconds. Kirtana, you don't get this chance all the time. You take at least 1 minute to come up with that powerful start, which can really kickstart this meeting. So please use this opportunity. I know that actually you are a brilliant speaker. All I would request is, use this opportunity to bring in some new quotes or some stories and make the best use of time. However,
Thank you so much.
Yes, you gave a brilliant introduction to our president, and our president, Srijit, is so much comfortable behind the lectern, or should I say in front of the virtual screen. He is brilliant, and he has got that formula. That's what experience does, right? So you see in this the Bollywood movies, for a successful movie, it is 2 songs, 3 fight, and 2 heroes. This is the way it goes. Now, actually, he knows exactly what to do. He's got 2 stories, 1 great introduction, and a couple of one-liners with humor. Brilliant, Srijit. And also, thanks for taking that call very early today. Looking at the situation, the presence of mind is actually very important, and having this meeting flawlessly. Wonderful. One request for the committee is the concept of applause. I think you have implemented so many things here in the virtual world, but this concept of applause also can be done. It's actually very easy to implement. After a speech, generally it goes null, right? None of us actually unmute. It is an hassle. Maybe somebody should be given this role actually where we can have those applause sound coming in. This is just as a suggestion for me. And also, I think I need to recognize Preeti, our secretary, who just converted those simple statistics into a colorful storyboard, right? It was actually fantastic, Preeti. You really embellished the minutes of the meeting. So with that, I hand over the meeting back to the president, who gave a brilliant session today, and his lively face will lighten us all again before we end the meeting. Over to you, Srijit.
Oh, thank you, General Evaluator. I thought you will give it to TM. No problem. Okay, fine. Anyway,
okay. The voting link for roll takers is sent in the WhatsApp group. The voting code will be 1296. Please do.
Yeah, voting code is 1296. Please vote in next 5 seconds. Yeah. Yes, thank you so much, General Evaluator, for conducting or for giving a thoughtful feedback. We will try to implement all those suggestions you have given for us. Thank you so much. And thanks to all the role takers and speakers and evaluators. It was a tough decision for me to take, and thanks for cooperating with me, all the members and guests. I hope you all enjoyed this meeting. Anyway, this evening is we all got a really sad news. Now we have to move on. So we had this option of doing this online meeting, and quickly all of us have adapted this. And thanks to all my committee members and those especially like Hannah, Kirtana, Aaron, all those people who have immediately responded, and thanks for everything and made this meeting flawlessly. Thank you so much. So with that note, now it's my time to announce the awardees of this meeting. The best tackle role goes to our listener, Toastmaster Smita Roshi. And best role taker goes to Toastmaster Som Shekhar. And the best evaluator, DTM Rajdeep Manvani. And best table topic speaker, Toastmaster Varsha. And the best speaker goes to Toastmaster Robinson D'Souza. I request everyone to unmute yourself and give a loud round of applause to all the winners. With that note, I adjourn this meeting 1296. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.